Track and field is not an easy lifestyle. It is hard. Our work is on the office. We are on the office day by day. We train twice per day, so we have no life whatsoever. So I motivate myself because I know how great I am. I know what I am capable of doing. So once I'm healthy, I know everything will be fine. For us to come out here day by day and race and to do so well, also to travel on long flights and to compete that well, it's pretty good enough to know that we are successful and we are here to tell the story to everybody else. So try to work hard each time, whatever injuries I have, I try to work through it slowly. The aim was to qualify, but not the result I wanted, One man that told me, cool, but they say, you must to qualify. Yep. I'm not in the best shape of my life, Early in the season, I had some struggles, Achilles, shoulder. Yeah. I'm not applying, I'm grown to qualify. Over the years that I have a lot of failures, I have lost championships, I have lost titles. Those are my motivations.
Elaine Thompson-Herah, the woman who made sprinting history with back-to-back Olympic doubles, is now at the center of a storm. Once untouchable, once unstoppable, she's being told her time is over. Former Olympian and outspoken analyst Ato Boldon just shook the sprinting world by saying Elaine is done as a threat. The words hit hard, especially in Jamaica, where she's considered sprinting royalty. But was Boldon being disrespectful or brutally honest? That question has ignited fierce debate. Some see his remarks as an insult, others as a wake-up call. And now the world is left wondering, is the Queen truly finished? Or is this the quiet before her greatest comeback? This story isn't just about wins and medals. It's about legacy, pride, and the brutal reality of sport. We'll unpack Elaine's golden rise, the battles with injury, Boldon's bombshell, and the one final question that could change everything. Boldon may have lit the fire, but first, let's remember how Elaine became a queen in the first place. Elaine Thompson-Herah's career didn't just break barriers, it rewrote them. In 2016, she stunned the world at the Rio Olympics, winning both the 100-meter and 200-meter, a feat not seen since Flojo in the 1980s. 5 years later in Tokyo, she did the impossible again, another double, cementing herself as the first woman in history with back-to-back sprint doubles. Her 10.54 seconds in the 100-meter stands as the second fastest time ever recorded, putting her just behind Florence Griffith Joyner's world record. In those years, Elaine wasn't just a champion. She was sprinting's golden standard. Jamaicans crowned her their queen, rivals feared her, and commentators marveled at her dominance. With every stride, she reminded the world that sprinting's heart still beat in Kingston. But history is never without its shadows. Behind those dazzling wins, a problem was lurking, one that would haunt her for years to come. And that shadow wasn't another sprinter. It was her own body. If Elaine's story was a fairy tale, this is where the villain enters. Achilles' injuries. They weren't new, but they kept coming back, threatening to undo everything she'd built. Despite the pain, she powered through. In 2022, she grabbed a bronze in the 100 meters at the World Championships, securing Jamaica's sweep. Weeks later, she stormed the Commonwealth Games, winning both sprints and proving she could still deliver. But injuries don't play fair. By 2023 and 2024, the signs were clearer than ever. Elaine ran only twice in 2024, far from her best, before vanishing from competition. Fans were left in limbo. Was she resting, rehabbing, or retiring? For someone who had built her reputation on invincibility, the silence was deafening. Every missed race raised a painful question. Was this the end, or was she preparing for one last thunderous run? That's when Ato Boldon dropped a bombshell the world couldn't ignore. On TalkSports Radio, hosted by journalist Michael Bascom, Ato Boldon didn't mince words. Asked if Elaine could still contend, he said, "Elaine is done as a threat." Just like that. 6 words that echoed across the track world. For Boldon, it was simple. Her Achilles injuries had stolen too much, and the Elaine we once knew wouldn't dominate again. But in Jamaica, those words were explosive. Elaine isn't just a runner. She's a national symbol. To say she was done felt like cutting into the pride of an entire island. Social media erupted, fans furious that one of their own, an Olympic medalist turned analyst, would dismiss their queen. But others quietly agreed. They'd seen her struggles too. Still, Boldon's words weren't just analysis. They were a challenge, and to drive his point home, Boldon used an analogy that shocked everyone listening. Boldon painted a vivid picture. Elaine, he said, was like a high-mileage car. On the outside, polished and flawless, but under the hood, worn down from years of strain. Push it too hard, and the parts break. That's what happens when you ask a body to run 10.5 seconds. The forces on the Achilles, the joints, the muscles are beyond imagination. Elaine, he argued, had already pushed her body further than almost anyone else. And now it was breaking down. It wasn't disrespect, it was physics. The car had been driven to the edge of its limits, and every comeback attempt risked another breakdown. For fans, it was painful to hear, but even some supporters admitted the analogy made sense. But if Boldon thought science would shield him from backlash, he underestimated Jamaica's loyalty. After the backlash, Boldon clarified his words. He insisted there was no malice, no insult, just realism. He admitted Elaine was already a legend, her legacy untouchable. She didn't need another medal to prove it. Still, he stood firm. He didn't believe she'd win another individual global medal. But then, he added something that shifted the tone. He said he'd eat crow with pepper sauce if she proved him wrong. He'd be delighted, he claimed, to watch her rise again. For him, it wasn't about tearing her down. It was about acknowledging how impossibly high she had set the bar. But whether Elaine is truly finished, or preparing for one more miracle, depends on the bigger picture of sprinting's future. With Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce now retired, a new wave of stars is rising. Tina and Tia Clayton, Julianne Alfred, Melissa Jefferson, all hungry for the throne. Elaine's absence has opened the door, but her return could slam it shut. Imagine her comeback, the legend facing the next generation on the world stage at the 2025 World Championships. The headlines, the tension, the sheer electricity, it would be historic. But if she stays sidelined, the torch will pass and the new era will begin without her. Sprinting moves fast, literally and figuratively. It doesn't wait for legends. The crown belongs to whoever's fastest right now. And that brings us to the one question that has every fan on edge. So, is Elaine Thompson-Herah truly finished? Or is the greatest comeback of her life still waiting in the shadows? Boldon insists her reign is over, that the wear and tear of chasing history has finally caught up with her. But even as he doubles down, he leaves the door open, saying he'd gladly eat his words if she returned to win again. And that's where the fascination lies. Because when it comes to legends, the story is never simple. Think about it. How many times have we counted out great athletes, only to watch them rise again, shocking the very people who said they were done? Elaine's journey has always been written in fire. She's battled injuries before, she's silenced critics before, and she's proven that she thrives when the world doubts her the most. Her story isn't just about medals, it's about resilience, about Jamaica's pride, about carrying the weight of expectation and still finding a way to deliver. If she does return, imagine the scene. A packed stadium, the gunshot echoing, and Elaine exploding out of the blocks, proving that the queen still wears her crown. And until she answers that question herself, one thing is certain: no one can afford to look away.